I will answer this question by saying that change is the only constant in life. So you cannot deny it anyway, okay? Whether you like to have a change or not. It can be change at your life, it can be change at your work, but you have to change it anyway. For example, for company, if the profit is declining, you cannot just say we keep doing the same thing anyway, so you have to change to figure out what's wrong, why the profit is declining. And the good example would be when we have COVID-19, right? You don't expect it to happen, but again, you actually have to change the way that you do businesses. You cannot come to work, so that's why you also have, adapted hybrid or fully remote workplace anyway. And then for your life, you cannot go out to buy food. That's why you also have new businesses to actually deliver the food for you. So in conclusion, it means that change is inevitable. We have to embrace it. Okay, so as you know, we have many reasons anyway, but I will come down to 5 top reasons. Okay. The first one is actually about financial crisis. Okay, you have decline in revenue. Okay, you cannot sell, so that's why you have to do something. The second reason is actually, you have what we call performance gap. It means that you expect something but you cannot perform. It means there's a big gap. You need to do something to narrow the gap anyway. And you know that we have a lot of new emerging technologies. It will help us to perform better. So you cannot say, I will do everything the same way without technology. And then you have to look for opportunities. Even though you are doing fine with your businesses, but for example, the company would like to also open a branch in another country or in another city. And the last is actually the pressure. It can be from internal pressure or it can be external pressure. Internal pressure can be your own employees. Okay, they would like to have a rest, they would like to have better working environment. For external pressure, it can be competitors that they actually start something new. You cannot also say, I will not do anything. So you have to respond to the competitors' actions also. So I will give you statistics first before I talk about key failure factors. They said that 70% of change initiatives fail. So it means that only 30% of change initiatives are successful. So that's why you can see that there are a lot of failure factors that can happen. Okay. The first one is actually you do not understand the importance of change management. You think that you still can continue doing the same thing over and over. The second one is actually that you don't understand the components of change management. You need to have a good plan, you need to have good communication. They're also resistant to change. This one is also the component that you need to understand. The next one is actually you need to have executive to support. You might not have support from executive. This is the case of lack of executive buy-in that you don't have. The next one is actually, you don't have strategic alignment. It means that whatever change you want to do have to be aligned with your company strategies that you have. The next one is actually you need to have good communication with everyone involved. For example, your employee might say, I'm not aware of the change that you would like to do. It's not going to work anyway. And so that's why you have to communicate with people who get affected by the change. I will focus on the way to reduce the risk based on the good communication. The first one is actually you have to involve all people in the early stage. It means that you have to inform employees of your organization that you're going to have a big change, so they know, not just it's a big surprise for them. The second way to do is actually you need to make sure that, okay, the communication is two-way. You tell them what you want to change, they tell you how they feel about the change, so communication have to be two-way in this way anyway. The third is actually, usually company will have team meetings. Whatever the team meetings that you have, change management will be part of the team meeting that you have. Okay, so you have to inform all the team in the meetings that the status of the change initiative that you have. The last is actually, even though you already finished the change initiative, but you cannot stop communicating. So as I mentioned that I focus mainly on a way to reduce the risk through a good communication. Okay, there are many trends anyway, but I focus also on key trends that you have. Definitely number one trend is actually the use of digital adoption platforms. Okay, you can see already from pandemic that you need to have, platform so that you can have team meeting online anyway. So this will also move to what we call digital transformation that you have. You can actually have hybrid workplace, or you can have fully remote workplace. This is up to you. Okay, but again, you have to involve technology, so it will be digital workplace anyway, whether it's actually fully remote or whether it will be hybrid anyway. The second thing is actually you need to also see whether the managers or the one who involved with the change initiative can be change agents. Because again, sometimes you might need to have a change agent from outside. Okay, you can also think of maybe you can use people from inside to be the change agent for your change initiative that you would like to have. The third thing is actually, you said that it has to be integrated with your culture. How can you make sure that change initiative will be integrated with the culture? We can change the culture, but we cannot change the culture rapidly. It will take years to change the culture anyway. Okay. The third thing is actually what we call data-driven change management. You know that we have data analytics, that we can analyze the problem that we have, and then we collect the data. We try to actually see how can we use analytics so that we can analyze situation. Okay, and this one is also important for companies that they use proper data analytics. And the last one, we actually have to humanize the change, because again, change is also important. It's part of our life anyway. Okay, when we talk about change management, there are many models that you can use. For example, the famous 8-step culture model, or you can go with ADKAR 5-step model. Regardless of the model you use here, you can follow it anyway. But I will actually talk about generic model that is proposed at Harvard Business School. They actually make it generic, and it consists of 5 steps. The first one is actually, you actually have to prepare organization for the change. The step 2 is actually you have to create vision and plan for change. The third is actually you implement the change. The fourth is actually you embed the change within culture and practices within your company. And the last step is actually to review the change, whether it's actually have a good result or not. As you know that culture is very important component in change management anyway. So that's why we have to make sure that the change is aligned with organizational culture. But before we do that, we also need to do what we call cultural assessment. Okay, so that's why usually for cultural assessment, the first thing is actually you have to choose cultural assessment methods. You can actually have what we call culture walk. You go to the organization and you observe, okay, the culture, or you think that maybe you can interview some people to know the culture, or you can even use the survey, okay, by asking them to fill in the questionnaire. So this one is actually you have to select the method for cultural assessment. And then you actually have to perform assessment using the method. You have to be fair. If it's going to be self-reported, it can be a bias. So that's why you have to make sure that you have a bias for cultural assessment. And then you actually examine the result of assessment. And then you actually, see how you can conclude the assessment. And then after you know whether we also need to change certain culture, you also actually draft the plan and then implement the cultural changes. But as I mentioned that cultural changes will take time. It cannot be happen overnight anyway, so that's why it will be a long time to change the culture within organization. Okay, this module consists of two parts. The first part is change management. So you will learn everything about the process, about people. All in all, you have fundamentals about change management. The second part is actually focused on knowledge management. Okay, if your organization need to have knowledge management, okay, how can you do that? What is the meaning of organizational knowledge within company? So this one is the second part, and usually we have a lot of case studies that you see real examples, how they manage change and how they manage knowledge within the organization. There are many resources, offline, online. I just want to mention online resources here that it will be convenient for you to take a look. Okay, I only named 3 resources here. The first one is actually what they call Change Management Resource Center, okay, by both sides. You can put in search engine and you will see the link. The second resource is actually by PMI. PMI stands for Project Management Institute. They also actually have change management resources. And the last resource will be from Harvard Business Review. The same thing that actually put the keywords change management and then Harvard Business Review, and also will provide you the link. There are a lot of books that you can take a look, but I think, as I mentioned, that online resources will be convenient for